Hey guys, I am Nishant and welcome to Cybernetico. So today, let's learn how to perform CRUD operations in Angular. So we will create data, we will read them, update them and delete them, and we will do all of these in a backend API made using Node.js, MongoDB and Express.js. So by the end of this video, you will learn the Angular CRUD operations and how to connect the backend and frontend using services and observables. So let's start now. Now let me show you the base setup first. So in the file server, we have the client folder and server folder. Server contains all the code that we need for the backend. So it has the routes which contain all the routes here. So we have the post route, we have the get all route, all these APIs that we can use. So post add data, post adds data, get all gets all data from the server, get only one data using the IDS path params. Then we have update and delete like that. So you will get all this code in my GitHub repo. I will leave the link in the comments or description. So now let me start server. So open terminal and just do cd in server folder. Change the directory to server. And to start, if you open the package.json here, see we have to start the app using npm start. So npm start and it will run the server using nodemon and index.js. This enter. But we don't have the node modules. All the packages here like .env, express, mongoose, nodemon. So we need to install them also. So just do npm I to install all the packages from package.json file. So it's been installing here. Now let's start the server. So do npm start and it will start. See, it's getting started. And if you open the index.js, our main file, database connected, it's database connected to MongoDB. We are getting the message here. And server started at port 3000 here. If we make a change here, it will be dynamic. Like save it now and see. Server started at port 3000 and database connected. So that's done. Our backend code is now running. So now let's see the front end. The Angular. So open up a terminal. Don't close this one. So just do cd into client folder. And let's generate a new Angular app. So we have to install the Angular CLI first using this command called npm install this Angular CLI, and then create a new app using this command ng new my app. So my app is the app name. So let me make this as Angular CRUD. Enter. It will ask us a few things. So we need the routing. Yes. We need CSS. So it's done. Our configuration is done. So it's installing the packages into client folder. See all this src source data and all these things, config files. So let's wait for it for a moment. So the app has been created. So now let's start the app. So if we go to this Angular CRUD folder, just do a cd. Okay, wait, clear it first. So cd Angular CRUD, fine. And to start the app, we can just do this ng serve. So just type ng serve, enter. It will serve our application, but it will take some time. That too. Analytics off, fine. So we have this folder. So start. Please start. So it's generating the browser application bundles. So we have to wait again. Then it will start our application and we can just go to the CRUD part. So our app has now been compiled. So we can open the app at this localhost 4200 because that's the basic or that's the default port for Angular Firebase. Sorry, not Angular Firebase, I mean for Angular app. So we don't need this terminal, so just close it and it will still run like this. So now let's see our codes in the app folder and app.component.html. So we have all this boilerplate. So let me just remove all this we don't need. And we will add our own code, this form here. So let me just uncomment this. And so this is here. This is where we write the HTML part. And in the app.component.ts, we will write our logic. I mean for our this TypeScript things like how to handle logic and all. I mean, so let me create. Okay, if we check here, it should give an error because here we are using a login form and one function called add data. So let me create a function here, just like add data, this function. So just copy and simply add it here. Fine. So we don't have all of these things, so remove them. Just remain with just relieve add data here. So let me just format this and we are done. But let's name this add data function something else. So let's say submit data. You copy this and make the add data to submit data. So it will be fine, I guess. So save it and it's fine. Yes, fine. So it is giving us a value which is coming from here. Save it. Fail to compile. What's the problem with you? Huh? Something is wrong here. Let me check. So we are using submit data value any. Okay, the problem here is if you open this app.module.ts, we should have a forms module. So we have to import it also in order to use forms. So just import this forms module and add this here. Then just declare or just import this like this. Fine. Save it and let's check it's working now. Great. So let's control our data or value from this form. So see, the form is here, but we don't have the styling. So let me also copy the styles, which is in the app.component.css. This. So copy all of these things and just paste into this component.css, and the styling will change. Save and see, we have the some styling, but not all the styling, not some cool styling. I mean, so if you enter the name, email, and password, these should be logged in the console. So try it. Let's try it. So I will leave the link to this repo, which is named as Firebase frontend. Here I have shown how to connect to Firebase. You will also get the video link. That's great. So add the name, the email, and some password 12345 6. Then add data, and it's coming here. So we will send all the data to our backend, which is in the server folder, in this folder, which is running. So it's good then. So now we're getting all the data in the values. So now let's create services to handle the CRUD operations. So let me generate one service folder first, or service file. So create one more terminal. Cd into client slash angular CRUD. To create service, just to ng g for generate, as for service, and the service name. So let me make this as users. G for generate, S for services, short forms. So it's done. So we will have this service here called user service.typescript file. Fine. So here we have to import a few things, but before this, let me just close the app.component.html. We don't need it now. So open the app.module.ts, and here we will import the HTTP client module that will be used to send data. So import this like HTTP wait, client, okay, module from Angular, wait a second, in quotes. So it's and what I am typing, angular slash CLI. I think it's CLI. Okay, not, it's not CLI. I think it's just angular common on. Okay, let's just leave it angular core. Let's try core. Okay, let me just search in the Google how to import this thing. See, communicating with backend services using HTTP client module. So it's okay. It's in the common folder. I mean Angular common, then slash HTTP this, and it should run fine now. Yes. Then just add into the imports array here like this. Just like we did in the with the forms module. So add it here, and we can now use our services. So let's write our first service. So open up users.service.ts file and import HTTP. So we will import two things here. So first is HTTP client, I mean, and one more thing called observables. So we have to import observables from RxJS. So let me explain these two things. HTTP client will be used to send data or send requests to backend server or data, and this observable will be used to receive data from the backend server. So let me just initialize the HTTP client first. So say private HTTP and add the this one HTTP client here. Fine. So now let me just create the base endpoint. So say not const private base URL equals to this. So HTTP local host 3000, which is our base endpoint, and slash API. So you will get all these things if you open up this index.js file. So see, the port is 3000 and we have the base endpoint of slash API. So it's getting completed localhost 3000 slash API. Then we will create the service for getting all data. So open up routes.js, and here we have the function, we have the method of get all. So we will have to append it. So let me create a service here, one service. So it should be called get all data like this. Let's return something. So it will return us the HTTP. If we'll send the request first, I mean, using get method. So see http.get. Then let me add the base URL here. So it's the base URL like this. Then we have the route of get all to get all data. We also need to subscribe to the changes. So add observable here. It will record our response from the backend. So make it as any type. So these are important things to keep in mind. Now this service is done, created. Now let's import it into our component. So just import like this. So first we have to import the component name. So just do user service from the file name, so which is called users.service. Then we have to initialize our instance for service. So create a constructor, simple, like this, and inside the constructor body let's initialize it. So do private users or user service and add the service name here. Now it's done. Now we have to create one ng on init, and it will run when our page loads. So here we have to call the method. So we can just do user service or this dot user service dot get all data, the service name here, this one, close routes. So here let's subscribe to the changes. So subscribe, it will give us a data param or argument, and we can just console the data like this. So open the console now, but we should have an error. So what is the error here? So it's not okay. Let's do one thing. Let me just restart the Angular app again. Then I guess it will work. Because these things happen all the time. So let's wait for it. Let's wait for it. So see, it's now working perfectly. So open inspect and see, we have an array which contains the name and the age. So if you open this, let me open the models. So you see, we have the name and the age. So let me change the form here as well. So in the what is it? Add.component to HTML. Let me just make two input fields, not three. So this should be, we have the name. Fine. Let's make the second one as age. So make the name to be age, placeholder as age, ID as age, and type as number because age is just a number. Fine. And we should have a name and age fields here. And we can add data. Fine. So this is done. We can add data and see if we add data. Here, let me open this submit data function. Open the console, add some data, and add data. So see, it's coming here in the console. So now we will create the service for posting data to the backend in the services file. And to create a post method, we just have to do this. So function name, so post data, and it will take an observable here of any. Okay, outside this, separate them, and it will return us something. So it will return us the this.http dot post method, and it takes two arguments. First is the endpoint. So if we copy the endpoint and add it here, and this is not get all, it's post. And the second argument is the data. So add data, and we will receive data from the this app component body. So add data here and add the type of any. So setup is done here. Now open this file called app.component.ts, and we will consoling the value first. And see, I have changed the name and age here. So because in the schema we have the name and age. So open up the models here, and it will be name and age. Fine. So close this, and here we will just call this service of post data. So we can do this dot user service dot post data. Let me create one body. So let's say body that we have to pass. First is the name value. So value dot name it is. Second is the value dot name. Second is the value. Second is the age. So it should be value dot age. That's all, and then pass the body here in the service name. Let's record the response. So say subscribe, response. We can console the response here like this. Fine. So now I think we are done. So now let's try to post something. Open the console. Okay, open the network tab first, not the console. Clear it. Add the name and some age. Then click add data. See, the problem here is it's not working properly because we have an CORDS error. To fix this, open up this index.js file and let me just install the CORDS package here. So if you open the CORDS documentation, CORDS npm, this thing. So let me install the CORDS. So open terminal and let me close the database now and the server and just do this npm install CORDS. Enter. Fine. So it's done. Now let's start the server. Before that, we have to create the instance for chords. So say const chords require chords. Then we have to do app.use chords like this here, and we are done. Now npm start this server started, and now let's try this. So this should be fine, I guess. So close this index.js, refresh the page, clear the console, add the name Nishant Kumar and some age. So click now add data. So now see, we are not getting an error because we had added chords. That okay, what is this? Why can't we resize it? Okay, and see, the data is coming here, age 25 and the name Nishant Kumar. Now open the console to see what we get. See, in the line number 28 in the app.component.ts, we are getting the data returned to us with an unique ID, and I don't know what is this double underscore v. And see, we have now two data here. Okay, so that's how we add data in the CRUD operations using a service. Now let's target the U part of CRUD operations, which is called update. So in service, user service, create a function. So update data, and it will take a data. It will take two things first. But before, let me just add the rest of the things that we need, like observables and HTTP. Return this dot HTTP dot. We have to use patch method because in the backend we have used patch. So just add the endpoint like this, and this is called update. I think the endpoint is called update. We are also passing the ID here, so we can just do ID, but we have to import ID and get the ID from here. So we have to get two things. First is the data of type any. Second is the ID of type string. Because if you open the console and see, this array has two IDs and they are both strings. So it's done, and this data is the updated data that we will get. So add the data here as second param or argument. Fine, save it now and it will work fine. Now let's add the service inside this app.component.ts. So create a function called update data like this. So let me add the body, but to get the body we have to add the values in the argument here, in the function argument. Then we can just do outside this body, let body this dot user service dot update data, and we have to pass the ID and the data because here we are collecting it. If we add the data only here, which is called the body, it will give us an error. Wait, at the body it will give us an error because see, expected two arguments but got only one. Here two are expected, two arguments are expected, but here we are passing only one. So let me pass the ID as well. So let me update the first field of the ID of 622C55F and everything else. So pass the ID and see, it's now working fine. We are not getting any errors. So now we have to subscribe to changes, response, and console.log response. That's all. Don't rate my typing. I know I am poor in typing. So we have to change a few things. So this add data should be update data. Open app.component.html and make this as update data. And then the function should be update data here, not submit data. So do this. We are getting the body like name and age from function arguments here, which is getting passed. Login from that value, it's coming here. Then we're creating this body again, and we are passing it here. So now let's try to update something. So this first one, the 0th index will be updated. Nishant Kumar will be something else and age will be something else. So try, let's add the name. So let's say Shailesh and some age 1000 years. Update data. So see, on the line number 40, we are receiving the response in the console, and the age is 1000 and the name is Shailesh. If we open the network tab, we should get it here as well. So in the preview, see, it's here. If we open the console again and refresh the page, we don't need this codes. See, the first index, I mean the 0th index, the name has been changed to Shailesh and age to 1000, but second one is still the same. So that's how we update data in, that's how we update data using service in Angular. So the last one is delete. So let me add delete as well, and it's very simple. We will delete the Shailesh field because ID is same. Make this as delete. So let's create a service for deletion. So this should be delete data. We don't need to pass data because we have to delete this. We have to pass the only the ID. See, wait. Expected 2 3 arguments but got only one. Okay, I think we have to remove the body from here. Then it will work fine. And add the service name called delete data here. So it is fine here, and here we have to use delete method, not patch, and it will work fine. So we don't need this body here. So remove all these things, not the value in function params, and it's done. So let's add the function to a button. So let's call the delete function here. Remove values here. If we click this, wait, let me make this delete. Fine. So if we click the button here, this, wait, let me remove all these things here. How to remove? Okay, leave it. Fine. So if we click the delete data, the first index, which is called Shailesh name is Shailesh and age is 1000, will be deleted. Delete data. Okay, not found. Let me check network tab. Cannot delete. Okay, we have to add the endpoint as well because they should be not update, they should delete. That's the thing, delete. Okay, so now click delete data and it's deleted. Document with Shailesh has been deleted. We are getting this message in preview. Open the console. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, and see, we have only one data here, not the Shailesh one. We can delete this as well if we pass this ID here in the app.component.ts without the quotes, double quotes. So click delete. Okay, what is this? If you open the network tab again, delete data, what is the problem? Cannot read property of name. Okay, I guess that's because, let me open the console again, refresh. Okay, see, we don't have anything here. That means it's been deleted already. So that's how we do CRUD operations in Angular. So we learned today how to use services, how to use observables, how to use HTTP client, and how to connect backend to the Angular services. So now I am signing off. So tata, bye bye, and happy learning.